Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. This is episode 29, and we are recording this the day before February 29th. That only happens, once every 16 years, Ron?
No, it's every 4 years.
Okay.
Sadie Hawkins Day.
Yeah, you talked about Sadie. We had Sadie Hawkins in junior high or high school, and I never knew who she was.
It's the one day where it's socially acceptable for a woman to ask a man out.
Okay. I did not know that. I know that now. So, by the way, I'm Dave.
I'm Ron.
And we're here. We got really, really good show today, Ron. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about some of our favorite gaming moments. And how this kind of happened is I'm on Facebook. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups for solo board gamers and stuff. And a lot of them are not sports related at all. They're adventure gaming and space and all this other stuff. But they're for solo board gamers. And in one of the groups, somebody posted and said, hey, what's your worst, moment in solo board gaming? And I know where this guy was going or this girl was going with this. It's like, what bad thing happened when you were playing by yourself, So, and I get it was kind of a lighthearted thing, like a horror story of playing a game. Oh, geez, this happened and that happened. But I said, what? Well, we were talking one day while you were having your pizza with pineapple on it. Right? We were talking, and I said, well, let's go the other way, Ron. Let's talk about positive stuff in gaming. Let's talk about some of our favorite gaming moments. And we opened that up to some of the listeners on Delphi and Facebook and YouTube, and we have a lot of responses from the community about some of their gaming moments, too. So it's going to be a fun show today. We're going to tell you about some of the fun things that we've done in our past. We're going to hear from you guys as well, some of the things that you have done in the past with gaming, and it should be hopefully a really fun show today.
Yeah.
So, before we get to the topic at hand, we're going to play the cut music, and we're going to let Ron have his one-liners, and then we'll talk about what we are playing.
Kimmy, put that Hot Pocket away. You'll go to jail if you eat that.
So what is the Hot Pocket thing again?
Okay, so the woman who is the heiress to the Hot Pockets fortune. Now, who would have known there was actually a Hot Pockets fortune? I thought it was just something from Nestle or Unilever or whatever. Is involved in the same bribery scam that Lori Loughlin, or Aunt Becky from Full House, and Felicity Huffman is. And so this woman made a $250,000 donation and bought herself 5 months in the slammer.
Oh, wow. I heard that there was more than one. It was more than that one lady there. But
right, no, there's like a bunch of them, but that's what the woman who was the heiress to the Hot Pockets fortune. So you just thought, when you were single and heating up that stuff, that it was just going to some shareholders. Apparently, it was a family business.
It was, and now they have free college for people.
And apparently, the daughter was a fake volleyball player. She got in with a fake. I think that's what it is. Is that they tried to get like a fake scholarship or something like that.
You mean, not to go off on this topic here, but my thing is that if you have $250 million, why do you need college? Why are you faking college anything to get somebody into school if you have that kind of money? Here, take $10 million and just
build a library.
Build a business.
Build a classroom.
Do something. Just, why do we need to put you through college if you have this? The idea of college is to go and get a job and make money. If you already have the money, then you can skip step 2, maybe.
I just whatever.
So anyway, let's get to the games section of the show. Ron, what have you been playing?
I don't know if I want to answer this or not.
I promise to be gentle.
That's what my first wife said. Let's new computer came, and so we're still setting that up. And so I've been playing a little bit of tennis, my 78 baseball replay, and 86 pro football playoffs, where I featured a Kansas City and New England in a game that was best described as bad.
Yeah, it was like real low scoring and
16 to 12.
It looked like the stats looked like it was something out of a 1950s game.
It really felt like dead ball football, like an early 70s football game when everyone can only run. I mean, Kansas City can't throw, and New England can't run. And so the combination of the two was kind of like one of those mid-'80s Bob Hope specials.
Now, in your replay, had Kansas City or New England played yet, or was that their first game?
I've had the Patriots on because I had that field ready.
No, but I mean in the playoffs.
Oh, no, they did not meet in real life.
No, I mean in your replay, had they already played one game, or was this their first game in the playoffs?
It was their first game.
Okay.
Because the Patriots won the East, and the Chiefs won the West.
Okay, so the Chiefs won the West.
Back in '86, there was only one wild card game.
Okay, so the Chiefs won the West as a bad team, per se.
Well, Bill Kenny was their quarterback for most of the season, and he got hurt. And so Todd Blackledge, when I put the game up on sports simulations and replays, the tease was, this is how Todd Blackledge got into television. Oh, your headphone broke.
Oh, no, it comes loose. I just thought I heard somebody come in the front door, so it's okay.
So that was that. So that and the baseball stuff and offline project. Here's a new one, and I guess it kind of dovetails kind of into what we're doing this week. Instead of doing, I bought the '86 season from Strat, Amatic for baseball, and instead of doing the as replayed stuff, which I normally do, I just took the quote unquote cards that came with it, and I'm doing a Red Sox and Mets replay from '86. And so I'll play one Red Sox series, and I'll go play a Mets series. And so there's no real lineups. There's no real pitching. The schedule is real, but whoever went in a particular game isn't real. So, for instance, Tom Seaver, who was with the White Sox and the Red Sox at '86, is carded with the Red Sox. So I have Tom Seaver the entire year, which is pretty cool because I am a Red Sox fan and a big Seaver fan. So to have that is pretty cool. The Red Sox have maxed their real-life record after 9 games, and the Mets can't buy a win. So I've got injuries. For me, it's a very different way of playing, but having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, that is kind of fun when you've done a lot of replays, obviously, but it's kind of fun once in a while when you go in and just say, look, I'm just going to do something a little bit different and enjoy the game for what it can offer me, not have to worry about this, that, or the other thing. So it is. I do that too sometimes. Sometimes I get all, right down to this is going to be just like this, and other times I just turn it on and go. Mm-hmm. And I have fun both ways. So that's good stuff there. So you're down to what, the final 4?
I got 6 teams left in the football tournament, or 5 teams left. And the Giants, the New York Giants and Chicago Bears will play Sunday live at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, on twitch.tv/Retro Sports Network. And then the winner of that game will face San Francisco in the NFC Conference Championship. So we're down to almost the final 4. And I would say that the NFC should be whoever represents the NFC will be heavily favored to win the not Super Bowl 20.
Right, and it's the other side's what, Seattle at New England.
Seattle at New England for the AFC Championship, which it's good in a way because both Seattle didn't ever make the conference championship while they were in the AFC again after '83, and this is the Patriot team that we thought was left for dead. After they got bamboozled by the Bears. So it'll be Super Bowl 21, I think. And so the Patriots got through their playoff game. It wasn't pretty. And so they get to host. So it'd be the first time in their post-merger history that they would host a conference championship game. Now, it's interesting. I've done 2 season football replays, and the Patriots have made the AFC Championship both years.
They do very well in your replays.
They do.
Yeah. So,
I want credit for that.
Let me see. I fired up the Strat PC hockey again. Finally, getting back to that. Playing a little bit more of my 74-75 season, and I'm just running that out of the box. I'm not doing anything crazy with that. I'm just looking at the different days. If I see a matchup that I want to play, I play it. If not, then I just sim the day and go to the next day. I'm really no rhyme or reason with this, just enjoying some of the old games. I don't know if I talked about this last week on the show or not. I forget when I played this game, but I played the Flyers Canadians in 74. I don't know if I talked about that last week,
I
but
think you did.
I might have. It might have been a week since I played this game, but yeah, that's a fun season. Perrant Dryden, that was a good time. Let's see. Still addicted to that stupid puzzle game on Steam, the Jigsaw puzzle game.
I'm flipping through my Facebook feed, and all of a sudden I see Christmas puzzles.
I do. I finish puzzles now, and I put them up there just for fun.
But have I said the there's a couple soups that I like. We talked about this on. I know you and I've talked about it, but have we talked about this on the show? Trader Joe's makes the best tomato soup I have ever had. It's tomatoes, spices, and heavy cream. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? Mm-hmm. And as a joke, the first time my wife made it for me, because I can drink it with a straw, and she doesn't need to help me with it. For those of you who don't know who I am, I have a severe physical disability, and so I need help with food. And so she serves it to me in this cup marked, "This girl loves Christmas." Now, I worked retail for 10 years. Don't ask me what I really think of Christmas. And I'm not a girl. Though I do play one in the private...
Yes, you do, on another channel.
And so the running joke is that when I get the soup, it comes in "This Girl Loves Christmas" mug. It's very funny.
That's funny. Hey, soup is soup. If you like it, that's good. Aside from that, I fired up my Xbox. I haven't played my Xbox in a while. They had a free game. If you're an Xbox Gold member, there was a free game, and it was called Call of Cthulhu, and it's kind of this H.P. Lovecraft mystery-type game. It almost reminds me of a point-and-click game on Steam that you might play, and you walk around, and you're on this island that's outside of Boston, so it has a very Boston feel to it.
Dave, you talked about this last week.
But I'm still playing that.
Oh.
And I haven't finished it yet.
Okay. I thought you were trying. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, so that's the only other thing I've been playing. I sat down and played a little bit more of that. I'm getting further along in that. The story's really developing now. It really took a really dark turn in this game, but I'm still enjoying playing that a little bit. So I'm bouncing back and forth between the computer and the Xbox as I play a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
The last time you talked about it, you were on the island. Do you stay in the island, or do you go back to Boston? Or
I actually went into the island, like into the island. We found a trap door in the mansion and went down inside and saw all these guys doing weird things and praying to weird statues, and it took a really weird turn. Now I'm in an insane asylum trying to escape. So
they read the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything in there. This game, it really does. So I'm kind of enjoying I'm enjoying the story of this game.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
cool.
All right. So without further ado, what do you think? Should we hit the main topic?
Let's do it.
So today's topic, as we talked about, is some of our favorite gaming moments. And I figure what we'll do this time, Ron, me and you will talk a little bit back and forth about some of the things that we've done in some of our moments in gaming, and then we'll get to some of the listener comments, because there are a lot of listener comments. As I get mouth number one upstairs barking away. So if you hear a barking dog, that's okay. He just barks at everything. So do you want to start?
I just saw a bunch of shadows behind you. That startled me there, but it was you moving for the board.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah. The other night I was using this video chat that we record with a relative of mine up in Maine, and it was nighttime and it was really dark behind me, and I happened to be living in her grandfather's house because it's my wife's cousin. And we were chatting, and she says, have my grandparents visited you yet? And right when she said it behind me, this little orb drifted behind me when she said that. And she said, did you see that? And you can see myself on the video here. I'm like, I saw that, and I'm totally creeped out. And she's like, don't worry, they're good. They're good. Grandparents are good. Grandparents are good. They like you. It was really weird. So I think I had some kind of a moth or something flying around in here that the light caught just right. It was freaky. So when you saw that shadow back there, now I'm really concerned.
Put your hand back on the board for a second. No, on the board. No, there was actually a shadow on your little cabinet there.
Oh, I'm wondering if somebody must have walked by the window.
That might have been it. Yeah, because that's what it looked like.
Because if he's barking and somebody walked by, then it would cast a shadow up over here. So
Grandma, can I have a Fanta?
Oh boy, yeah. So that's
Fanta and some Necco wafers.
As long as she can cook. Usually grandmas cook really well. So if she's upstairs cooking, that's fine.
Okay, so the topic at hand is...
Yeah, sorry about that little tangent there. You couldn't see any of the video, portion of that. But, okay, so, if you want to kick things off, Ron, go ahead. What are some of the things that you've done and like, wow, when I talk to somebody about my gaming, this is what I like to tell them.
Couple personal experiences. Was in a draft baseball league in college. And we've, created nicknames for players that don't really exist. I was behind late one game, and Andy Van Slyke came up, and so it was during the 1990s Stratomatic cards, and thumped the tying home run. And so the game goes into extra innings, and lo and behold, here comes Van Slyke again. I turned to my friend and said, well, here's Thumper. What's he going to do this time? Walk-off homer to win the game. And so he got the nickname Thumper for, he would never know that. But, for my mind, Andy Van Slyke forevermore was Thumper because of that. I've had a couple of no-hitters. That's kind of a common thing as you go through. And in baseball, that's such a rare thing anyway. Jim Bunning in 1964 for the Yankees. Both of my no-hitters were Yankee no-hitters, by the way.
What games were these when you were playing?
Jim Bunning's was an Action PC.
Okay.
And Catfish Hunter threw one for me for the 1978 Yankees using a game called Strategic Baseball Simulator. I took the top 8 teams that year and put them into a College World Series format, double elimination. I think the Phillies and Yankees played in the final, but in the first game, and I forget who he threw it against, Catfish Hunter threw a no-hitter, which was what was my first ever no-hitter in all the years of baseball gaming that I've done. Also, besides finishing replays, because you always feel good when you get that project finished, I had such a good time doing the 75-76 New York Islanders replay that I went from that Brian Trottier, I forgot to put on the jersey today, is now my favorite player.
From the replay.
Because he can do everything.
Because of the replay.
Because of that replay. Because of that. Because, he could score, he could pass, and he could play defense. I mean, I bought a Brian Trottier jersey just because of how much I enjoy playing those games in a replay. And now I'm doing 81, 82 in Strat.
Okay, and so you did the first one.
Part of the reason why is because I just love – now he's got Bossy with him. Just love playing with those two.
Yeah, you said the first one was Action PC?
Action PC. Yeah, now you're doing I got the Islanders past the Flyers into the final for a topic we might talk about another day, playing against the enemy or playing against your favorite team. And so the Islanders are in the final against the Habs, the Montreal Canadiens. And so I had to beat my beloved Habs to win the Cup. I took Game 1 in the Forum and lost in 5, and I was still happy.
Oh, but again, either team that won, you were okay.
Right. It's Montreal, or it's the team I'm playing, or the team, my favorite team. So it's not like it. But but the Islanders were notorious underdogs, or notorious underperformers in the playoffs, and to get them to the Cup was quite the rush.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So those are mine. And along with if you want a negative moment that I just found to be real positive, it's how you found me. The walk-off safety. Kansas City, Denver, in my 78 Action PC replay. There's 2 seconds to go. There's like 4 seconds to go in the game. And I've got a Kansas City team with the world's worst quarterback, even worse than Todd Blackledge, which I find hard to believe after last Sunday. And so the game is tied. Denver tied it. And the kickoff, they return it to the 4. Kansas City's on their own 4 or 2 or whatever it is. And so I'm looking. I cannot throw the football. It's going to be picked off. I should have gotten it picked off. And I know that Kansas City, it was not a playoff game, but it was going to determine, I think, a playoff spot or something like that. So they're on there too. And I have to call a run play. And so there was a 0.1% chance of a touchdown if I ran a pitch out to the left with a certain running back. And I do so, thinking, what the heck? Well, what the heck happens? He gets tackled in the end zone for a safety, and Denver wins 19-17. And so,
Yeah, I was watching that, and what was weird is it just said "Game Over, Final 1917," and you were just like, "What just happened?" I mean, I was running a run to the left; it should be going to overtime, and he got tackled in the end zone for a walk-off safety win.
and so, although it was not a positive moment, it was a positive.
It was. It was a good gaming moment. You know, something that you can talk about forever. And I would consider, because you were playing neutral there on that. Well, you know, that was just something whatever. So I would consider that a fun gaming moment for you.
Oh yeah, if I was doing a Chiefs replay and lost on a walk-off safety, that would not be a positive moment. that would be they're still scraping me off the ceiling from the gasket.
But it's just the idea that I don't think back then you had the option to take a knee. I think you actually had to hand off.
You had to, in '78. You had to run a play.
Yeah, and so when you just tried to make a run, the guy got tackled for a 2-yard loss, and that was that. Cool. So I got a few here. Probably one of my favorite stories I like to tell was back in 1990. I want to say 1993. I was actually in a band at the time. Or actually, I was not in a band at the time, but I played guitar and bass. And I answered an ad to go meet with somebody about joining their band. Okay? And so I drove down to their house, and we talked about the band and stuff we wanted to play and music we were going to do. And we hit it off pretty well. And we would talk, okay, cool. And, yeah, we'll set up a time that you can come and bring your stuff, your guitar and your amps, and play with us and see if we can make this work. So we were deciding on, like, which songs we were going to play in a whole bit. And I looked over, and he had a Sega Genesis on the floor. Okay, this is 1993. Okay, a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And he had the hockey game. Now, it wasn't NHL 94 because I don't think NHL 94 was out yet. So it was either 92 or 93. Okay? So I says, hey, you want to play a game? And he's like, sure. So we set it up, and I says, well, I play with all the rules on. And he goes, well, I play with all the rules off. So he says, let's play one of each. So we played with all the rules on, icing, offside, penalties, and I ended up beating him, right? So he's like, okay, now we're going to play it with rules off. No icing, no offsides, or nothing. He's winning this Sega hockey game by 1 goal, right? And I get the puck with about 40 seconds left. And in the game, the clock ticks really fast. It's not actual time. Sega hockey's really fast. And my winger comes down the right wing, and now I went to pull the goalie, but you got to pause the game to pull the goalie, okay? So you have to stop it, get down to change goalie, pull goalie, and then go back to the game so everybody knows the goalie's out, right? Because you're playing on the same screen, on the same TV, in the same room. Pull the goalie's going to the bench. My guy comes down the right wing. I go over to blue line, and I take a shot, and I beat the goalie over his shoulder with 29 seconds left to tie the game. And I'm like, yeah! Tied this game up. And we went on, and the game ended in a tie, right? I go home.
Remember to put the goalie back in?
Oh, yeah, put the goalie back in. I don't think there was overtime. I don't remember, but I think the game ended in a tie, right? I never got the call to join that band. True story. It's like I come home, and my girlfriend at the time, she's like, how'd it go? I said, it went really well. We even played hockey. And like, tick, 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 days go by. It's like I never heard back from this. So I don't know if the guy was just completely mad that I beat him or if it was my celebration. But yeah, so Sega hockey cost me a shot at joining a band back in the day because I tied it up on a blast from inside the blue line. It's a good time. So that's a story I enjoy telling. Some of my other favorite stories, the one that was in Sports Sim magazine that I wrote about, my first Stratomatic hockey game. That I was actually playing Basic, the one that I printed out the Whalers and the Nordiques and had a quick game, and that's the one that the Whalers are up 3-2 or 4-3 late in the game. Last couple of cards, Joe Sakic for the Nordiques on a breakaway gets stuffed by Sidorkiewicz on the breakaway. Would have tied the game. Ensuing face-off, last flip, last card. Shot from the point is a save. Goes to Guy Lafleur for the rebound goal. A goal on a 1-14, and I roll a 17. And Sidorkiewicz makes the save, and that was my first ever Strat hockey game.
Sold you on that one, didn't it?
That sold me on the game, and to a point, like I said, that made it into the magazine. That's how fun that one was. Continuing on with Strat, I'm still playing 71-72 Stanley Cup Finals between the Bruins and the Rangers. The series is tied 1-1. It went to New York. It went to overtime. And in overtime, Johnny Busick scored for the Bruins. And that was really fun to have the Bruins win in overtime. So they lead the series 2-1. That's another fun one that I enjoyed. Johnny Busick in overtime in Strat. Let me see. Shootout hockey. My Seals replay from 73-74 that I did the entire season for the Seals using shootout hockey. Got a few more wins that he did in real life, and that was more memorable just for that was my first full season replay.
Yeah, it's kind of like with doing the Islanders one.
Yeah.
That was the first hockey one I had done all the way through.
Yeah,
I mean, it's always a good feeling just to get them done, but
it was.
Yeah.
There was a few games in there that I enjoyed, a couple teams that I beat or tied that I shouldn't have, and that was really fun. And it was really fun comparing the scores. And I think we went over this at the end of the season, how close some of these statistics really were playing that game. So that was really fun.
Yeah.
Let's see, Game-Winning Drive by Downey Games, probably one of my favorite cards and dice football games. I did the 1979 playoffs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one of my favorite teams at 79. Remember, they got all the way to the conference finals where they lost 9-0 to the Rams. And the Rams
they got a field goal. It was 9-3.
No, it was 9-0. They got shut.
Was it 9-0?
Yeah, they got shut. Doug Williams got hurt, so he didn't even finish the game. So I decided to replay 79 football playoffs with Game-Winning Drive, and I got the Bucs to the Super Bowl. It was really different. I just played the playoffs, so I started with the first-round matchups, and they were different. We had some different wild card winners, so that sent the whole playoff thing into a spin, whereas Tampa Bay actually had to go to Dallas, which they didn't have to in real life, and they thumped Dallas in Dallas. It was crazy. And then I think they actually played the Rams again and beat them up pretty good. Then they went on to play the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. The Dolphins won out that year. So it was Miami-Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, and in my Game-Winning Drive replay, Miami won the Super Bowl, but it was just the idea that I got the Bucs to the Super Bowl using Game-Winning Drive, and that's
that game.
Yeah, you
on
replayed.
PC,
Yep, the Super Bowl.
And Tampa won.
Yep, you replayed it on Action PC the next week. We actually live streamed it, and Tampa Bay won that Super Bowl, and that was an odd game. Miami couldn't do anything in that game.
No, and Tampa could run and they could throw, and Miami just was stunningly bad.
But that Game-Winning Drive replay, that was really fun. Just to and that's a neutral game. There's not a lot of decision making. That's rolling the dice, and it tells you what happens in that. So it was fun that the dice actually played out, and the Bucs got and the Steelers did not. Miami got by. The Steelers lost out in that. I don't know who they lost to. I actually have that on my YouTube channel somewhere. That Steelers they did not get to the Super Bowl. So it was Miami, Tampa instead of Pittsburgh, LA. That's how that Super Bowl went in my replay. Mm-hmm. And lastly, one other thing that will always stick out for me is playing Action PC hockey. I was playing the Russians and the Canadians in the 72 Summit Series. I think it was Game 2, which was, I think it was in Toronto. And I think the Canadians were up by a goal. The Russians were pressing, and the whole rink went black in Action PC, and I thought the game crashed. And I actually was streaming this live, so I do have this on my YouTube channel as well. And it come back, and it said the lights in the arena went out. And that was really...
That was crazy.
That was nuts. It's like, why is my screen black? And I was like, well, I'm going to have to restart the game, folks. It crashed. And all of a sudden it came back and it said, oh, sorry, the lights went out at the stadium. So I played that up as the Russians thought the Canadians were playing a trick on them in Toronto and blah, 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 blah. And, so the lights out in Action PC hockey. And I've heard a couple other people that has happened to. It's probably one of those rare events. But that was some good times there. It really was. I enjoyed that.
I've never seen that. It's the only time I've ever seen that. You know, once in a while you get a line brawl or a goalie fight, but never seen the lights go out.
Yeah, and that was early on too. So I'm spoiled with that now because that was one of the rarest things you can get, and it kind of happened. So those are some of the fun things that has happened to us and some of the games we played. It's just stuff that you talk about when you sit and you're talking to buddies or whatever. Like, hey, here's some fun stuff that happened to me. So let's take a look at some of the things that the listeners talked about. Okay. Let's see. Patch83, a friend of the show. He's got a couple here. He says, Stratomatic Hockey, a one-off non-project game, one that Ron can appreciate. A 50s Red Wings team versus a 50s Montreal team. Detroit up by a goal late in the third. Number 9, Rocket Richard scores with 9 seconds left.
Woohoo!
In overtime, Bernie Boom Boom Joffrion scored to win it shorthanded. meaning Boom Boom must have hopped over the boards onto the ice when he wasn't supposed to. My father's theory when I told him about the game, he says, I guess Henderson did that late in Game 8 of the Summit Series when he scored. So, and then he said, the 77 Canadians beating the 71 Bruins in Game 7 overtime to win the championship. So he's had a lot of good times with Stratomatic hockey. And he said, for video games and hockey, a friend and his played through an entire season of NHL 95 for the Super Nintendo.
Oh, wow.
With the goal of getting Matt Martin, a 35-rated defenseman on the Toronto Maple Leafs, not the defensive forward who currently plays for the Islanders, but Matt Martin, who played with the Maple Leafs. They tried to get him to break Wayne Gretzky's single-season goal and point-scoring record. And he said they would just pass the puck to Martin every time they got it and then try to get him up the ice to score. And he thinks they got him 218 points and 135 goals. That is really interesting.
I love that.
Try to get the worst guy on the team. Yeah.
You know, speaking of Gretzky, if he never scored a goal in the NHL, if you take all 894 away, he'd still be the all-time leading scorer in NHL history.
Oh, just the assists?
With just the assists.
Yeah. It's nuts. Yeah, Ovechkin just got 700, and they're like, is he going to catch him? It's like, I don't think he's going to get.
I don't think he can, but.
He might come in, like you said, he might come in second place, but I don't think he'll go further than that.
Just tells you just how nuts Gretzky was.
It was nuts.
But I love that. That is.
In that era, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
35 defensemen and have him score 218 points.
That's fantastic. That is really cool. A whole season with NHL 95. Baseball demos. He says his memory was History Maker Baseball, the 67 Giants and Cubs. Fergie Jenkins tosses a no-hitter during a live stream, my first and only no-hitter to date. That is really cool when you capture that. If you're a streamer or if you record stuff or whatever it is, when you have video evidence of that happening, like the lights going out in the hockey, and that is really cool because you can go back and show that off, and that's why it's fun to stream stuff. It really is.
It's so rare too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a lot of people that have them, but they have one. You know what I mean?
For all the baseball games I've ever played, 2.
Really?
I've had 2.
But
never a perfect game.
But you've had no hitters. That's the thing. Is that everybody that plays baseball seems to have at least one if they play a lot. Is what I mean. Let's see. Al, Red Sox fan, who was a guest on the show a couple of shows ago. He says he has some experiences with OOTP baseball and Action PC basketball and baseball. So he says in OOTP he has 2 no-hitters, one with Phil Niekro in an open world alternative universe in 1972 with the Red Sox, and the other one was what was the other? Oh, that was the one. He didn't say who the other guy was. And then he says, anytime his Mets win a game in his 1977 replay, it's very memorable.
So they only won 64 in real life, and he's got him above that.
Yeah. And then he says, in Action PC basketball, he has Wilt Chamberlain scoring over 100 points, and he broadcasted the last quarter.
He did the game against the Knicks where Chamberlain scored 100, and he just fed him, and I think he got like 114.
That's nuts.
That was incredible.
That's really cool. And he says he had 2 no-hitters in Digital Diamond Baseball, Rihos for the Reds in the 1990 World Series, and Clemens for the Red Sox opening day 1998. So some good memories there. Over on Facebook now, on the Sports Simulation and Replays site run by friend of the show, Dave Little. A couple of people chimed in here. Jeff chimes in. Micro League Baseball in the 80s. As a teen with all my best friends. Okay, I'm not familiar with Micro League Baseball. Ron says you were,
That's
right?
why most of us broke our teeth into it. It was a game that came out exclusively for the computer, came with like 20 great teams, and you could buy season discs. And there was a stat disc where you could build your own teams. And so I had the same book of the Neft and Cohen Encyclopedia, and you could put in your own teams and play them that way.
Yeah. He said we would draft and enter stats of all the players with our huge books of baseball stats from 1901 and up. He says he still has at least 2 of those books, And he would play his league with his friends, and it was awesome, that micro league baseball in the
It was
80s.
Baseball Reference before Baseball Reference was there.
Keith says, played the 1983 St. Louis Cardinals season on SOM, Cards and Dice. The Cards had 85 wins with 15 games to play and won all 15 to win the NL East. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Then defeated the Dodgers and then the Orioles to win the World Series. Best managing job I've ever done in a replay.
That's pretty incredible.
That's winning the last 15 and 83 and going all the way. That's great. That's great. Clinton says, getting my first triple play in MP3. That was probably pretty cool.
Triple plays are also very rare.
Yeah, I would imagine they are. Let's see. D. Scott chimes in and says, 1931 Lefty Grove. That's a Strat original old times. Gave up a leadoff single versus 1953 Dodgers, then retired 27 straight.
Oh, wow.
Closest I've come to a perfect game, and as far away as you can get, giving up a base runner before getting an out. That's a leadoff single, and then retiring 27 in a row. Ooh, that stings. That stings. Kevin says, completing my first project in 1972, a bowl-bound, single-elimination college football playoff with 32 teams.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's 31 games.
1976 Notre Dame defeated 67 USC 14-0 in the championship game. Let's see. Louis writes in, challenged the Yankees baseball board game, sold only in 1964 and 65 by Hasbro. I was 7, my first introduction to a lifelong hobby. Pretty cool. Oh, just to clarify, there was a lot of people, especially on the Delphi forums, that chimed in and said that some of their favorite memories was playing with friends and family, or traveling to play friends, or having the box show up at the door or in the mail, or hearing the truck show up. So there was a lot of those, and we're not going to really include those in this. That's kind of, it's almost like a given. Some of my favorite moments are playing with friends and family and waiting for the game to arrive. So we're kind of
saving their paper money and getting the package and all that.
Yeah, so we're kind of really focusing on the specific in-game events that happen to people is what we're kind of talking about today. So if we don't read something that you wrote in about playing with family and friends, there was a lot of those. In fact, the majority of the responses was playing with friends and family, and we're just kind of going through it and kind of picking some of the specifics of the in-game stuff there. Let's see. Matt writes in, first year back playing Strat since I was a kid. He goes, I'm 38 now. And threw an opening day no-hitter with Garrett Richards in my 2018 MLB replay. That was pretty good. Let's see. Carl writes in, I remember playing Strat baseball with friends a few nights a week during the summer, leading into Strat Monday night football sessions during the late 70s as a kid. Getting my first PC in '84 and discovering Lance Hafner, Super Sunday, and Micro League games. That really started the ball rolling for sports sims for him. So more Micro League games there.
There was a Micro League had a football game and a wrestling game too, which I did not have.
Okay. David writes in, completing my first full season replay, 2016 Texas Rangers using Basic Strat. And that's my favorite version of Strat Basic.
That's always good. The other, I did a Red Sox and Mets 06 Strat PC one, and I got the Mets in the World Series. They got they lost to the Blue Jays, I think, in 7, but I got pitched Pedro Martinez into the World Series, which was very cool.
What team was Pedro pitching for?
In 06, he was with the Mets.
Oh, I did not know that. I always thought he was the Red Sox. I didn't know whatever.
He had his best years in Boston, but
yeah, that's true. Okay. So David goes on to say, I'm currently running 3 parallel season replays using Payoff Pitch. 19 Indians, 18 Rangers, and 87 Red Sox. As well as
interesting choice.
As well as the 19 Yankees using Inside Pitch. I'm a DH American League fan, as you can tell, and baseball is his gaming passion, and he's a season replay guy. Keep up the great work. Thank you, David. Some good stuff there. If we head over to our Digital to Dice, group over here on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digital to dice. And Ron, we're up to 159 members.
Yay! Thank you guys so much.
Yep, we added a few members this week, so if you're not in our Facebook group, definitely head over there, facebook.com/group/digital to dice. We do have to approve you because we try to weed out some of the bots and the people that come in and just post ads and the whole bit. So we do that, but we're usually pretty quick on approving people into the group. Let's see. Glenn writes in, back in 1980, I was 13. So was I, Glenn. So was I. I was doing a replay of the 79 Pirates, loved the family, with Status Pro. I had a game, don't remember who against, and the bases were loaded, and Willie Stargell was up. A hit would tie the game, maybe win it. I called my dad into the room to watch. He flipped the cards, and Pops struck out. I still had a smile on my face. My dad said, "Why the smile? You lost." And I said, "Yeah, but the game was great." He later told me that my reaction and response told him so much about me, and it made him so proud. A very tiny gaming moment that ended up being such a great memory to me. Thanks for letting me share it. That is fantastic. You lost the game, and you still enjoyed the game for the game. I like that story.
Absolutely.
I like that one. Gary chimes in, and Gary has a Hartford Whaler logo, so I should have put him first, Ron. I should have put Gary. My first no-hitter after 30 years of playing, Bob Stoddard, 1982 Mariners versus Twins. So good for him. Second was Dodgers versus Cardinals, 1985 NLCS replay. Game 6, Cards were up 8-1. Pedro Guerrero hit 2 3-run home runs and a 2-run homer in the bottom of the ninth to win it. That is cool. That is cool. Yeah, when you have those that was kind of cool. Those really crazy finishes to come back and win it. That's kind of fun. Friend of the show, Ivan, at the age of 13, discovering time travel baseball in the Baseball Digest. The ad said, "Manage players." From throughout history, next thing I know, I ordered the game. My first 3 games were thrilling. Kent DeCulve saved the first 3 games by striking out all 9 batters he faced. Yeah, that's cool. I know at that point I'd be playing this game for life. At 53, 10,000 games later, I'm still traveling through the tunnel of time. Oh, by the way, DeCulve, after 40 years, has gone from ace pitcher to hard luck pitcher. He's just a mop-up guy now. Thanks, Ivan. Let's see. Derek writes in, I was playing in a Stratomatic baseball tournament a few years ago, mostly super advanced rules. Late in one of the round-robin games, I had a man on first. I rolled a D20 for a wild pitch balk check and got a 1, which meant we checked the pitcher's card and rolled a D20 again for a possible wild pitch. The pitcher's wild pitch rating was 1, so a 1 was needed for the wild pitch to happen. Desperate to get a guy in scoring position, I said, "Come on, 1." Kissed the D20 for luck and dropped it in the dice tower. Sure enough, it come up 1 again.
Didn't you have something similar happen with Tampa?
Yep. So he said, my opponent and I both laughed so hard at that occurrence. I don't even remember if I won the game, but always remember that moment, rolling back-to-back ones for the wild pitch. That happened to me. It was, I want to say it was game-winning drive.
Was it the $76 that you did that?
I don't know if it was the 76 replay, the 79 replay, where I rolled. No, it was one. Ron, it was one of the playoff games I did in that 79 replay. When I rolled, it was either a punt return or it was an interception. I rolled 11 for the interception, and I needed to roll 11 for them to return it, and I rolled another 11, and they returned it for the touchdown. It was something like that effect where it was 2 identical rolls, and you needed it back-to-back to happen to return it. And I think it happened a couple of times, too, that we had and one was at the end of the half, too. They picked off a pass, and I rolled it, and you ran it back at the end of the first half for a score. So I've had a couple things like that, too. It was just crazy. It was like, man, 2.
It really is.
And it's fun when that happens. You get 2 back-to-back. What are the chances? I'm like, what are the chances I'll pick this off and run it back again, or pick up a fumble and run it back? And I did it twice in the same game.
It's just like you talked about earlier when you had the 1-17 to score and you rolled an 18. I've had a couple in Strat hockey where it's a goal on a 1-19. And the split's at 20.
Yeah, But that's
you're
amazing.
pulling your hair out, but it's still,
That's why we play the game.
Yep.
It's a good time when that stuff happens and when you see the craziness come out like that. Let's see. Stephen Chass says, Spring Day 1980, when I got my first game, APA Baseball, I set up a game using the 79 Blue Jays and the 79 Braves. I didn't want to use the good teams and defile the game. I did the same thing with hockey. I did the Whalers and the Nordiques. I did the same thing. I believe the Jays won 4-2 in spite of my countless learning mistakes. Still favorite game to this day, almost 40 years later. And that's that's Apachata. I did not realize that. He's got some good stuff going on. And then Shannon chipes in. Shannon is a new member to the group.
Yep.
Kyle Hendricks, 2016 Strat card, throwing a no-hitter against the Milwaukee Braves in Wrigley.
Nice.
That's kind of cool. So
No, there's nothing ever wrong with a no-hitter.
No. There's some good stuff there. Over on the Delphi forums, we got a couple of good stories here. There was a lot of them. Some of the longer stories I'm not going to read, but I do want to hit on some of the highlights here. Buddha Daddy writes in, and this is one of my favorite stories here. So, Ron, hear this one here. Stratomatic Basic NBA. Okay, so this is basketball, okay? He was playing the 2015-16 Cavs with LeBron against the 95-96 Bulls with Jordan, okay? So you got LeBron versus Jordan. Cleveland led by 7 through the third period. The Bulls scraped back and went up by 2 in the last sequence of the game. Okay, LeBron steals the ball from Jordan and hits a 2 to tie, sending it to overtime, 114 to 114. At the end of OT, LeBron draws a foul from Jordan, hits both free throws, and the Cavs win by 2 in overtime.
Nuts.
That was cool. So the Bulls come all the way back and went up by 2. LeBron steals it from Jordan, hits it to tie. They go to overtime. Jordan fouls LeBron, and then the Cavs go on to win it. That was really cool. He said that Jordan put in 66 on that day, and LeBron had 44 points. So yeah, that's what makes these things fun, Ron. When you can play LeBron and Jordan, or or any crazy matchups like that, that is fun because you can see what happens. When you play different eras. So LeBron Jordan matchup, and other people have done other matchups in baseball and hockey. So, that's great. Great stuff there. You see, Brian says 1980 USBL season using Sherco. The Houston Prison pitchers Joe Niekro and Steve Rogers each pitch one hitters in a doubleheader against the Atlanta Triplets. That's interesting. Ron, you've heard of Sherco, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have not.
It's an older game that Brian actually has resurrected from the dead.
Oh, nice.
And so, yeah.
Okay, he
liked it so much as a youngster that he wanted to make sure that other people got to see it.
Okay, nice. Let's see. He also writes in 2003 replay Rumble in DeKalb. Jim Palmer throws a no-hitter for his manager Bill Blair, with everyone in attendance looking on for the final inning. That's kind of cool.
It's always good in a tournament or something like that, a draft league, to have to excel in that, in a no-hitter, because the draft tournament is going to be the best players against the best players. So it's even tougher to get that. And if you're doing a tournament like that, you're assuming that people know how to play the game. And so that just really makes it special.
Okay. And I'm going to butcher this name here, but the nickname is Bionu Show. Okay, on the forums.
That's Byron from Status Pro.
Okay. And he says his first no-hitter was Baltimore Jim Palmer. So a lot of no-hitters with Jim Palmer I'm reading here today. What a surprise, right? I've had some really great NBA, NCB, NHL last-minute victories and defeat. Too many to count. I agree. There's too many to count a list, but he's just had a good time. Tabletop gaming is a great and fairly cheap escape from the daily world drama. Yes, exactly. That's why we play. That's why we do this show, Ron, is to escape the world drama, to talk about things we enjoy talking about, and to interact with people with their stories. And I'm enjoying this show so much because I'm hearing from other people and things they've done, and I'm making notes right now, and I want to go do some of these things too. I want to go, some of these matchups I'm reading here, I want to go play now. so I can do it. So, yeah, keep them coming, guys. This is really fun today. Ray writes in, recently using Red, White, and Blue Racing with the fictional Scram set, this happened. Last turn. Unbelievable finish. Race leader Stu Urich, who with the win would have gone on ahead of Wayne Montana in points, gets tight in the final turn and is passed by Dave Lilly. Lilly's first win on the last turn.
Fictional stuff can be great. I just won a championship at OOTP. I was down 1-0 in the bottom of the ninth. Game-tying home run. They get runners on first and third, and I win the championship on a walk-off single from a 220 hitter.
That's
2-1.
So you got the walk-off singles, the walk-off safeties. You got them all covered.
Hey, walk it off, baby.
I actually played a racing. I think it was dice racing, Ron, that I played, and that's a fun game. I need to break that out again. And I was just racing 10 cars. I think you could race 20 or 30. I just raced 10 because I was just like playing the game. And you would roll the dice, and depending what numbers you had, you would move so many spaces. And it was fairly simple. I just did it on a spreadsheet. And this one guy led the whole way. In the last lap, no kidding, one guy came in and passed everybody in the last lap. He passed like 3 cars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was fun. Because I'm playing this, and I you know what? I think there might have been, I don't know, there was an accident. I rolled the dice, and it said, check the accident chart. And the top guy wiped out. The 2 guys behind him wiped out. And the guy that was in third or fourth, I rolled, and he missed the collision because you roll the dice to see if you're involved or not. And this guy missed the collision, and the fourth place guy in the last lap went by the crash and won it all. And I was like, that was fun. That was really kind of cool. Very similar to what Ray was saying here. Yeah, it was. That was a good time. John writes in, I finished up a 1984 season replay with the PC version of Replay Baseball. After the White Sox knocked off the Tigers and the Astros knocked off the Cubs, I had a surprise World Series matchup. So it was White Sox and Astros in the World Series. In Game 1, Ron Kittle hit for the home run cycle. And I have never heard of a home run cycle. He hit...
It would be a solo, a second, a third, and a granny.
A grand slam, a 3-run, a 2-run, and a solo shot. The White Sox won in 6, and he had a very obvious series MVP. I've never heard that, the home run cycle. That is neat. The grand slam, the 3-run, 2-run. So imagine that, 4 home runs in one game. That's
only happened a handful of times. I don't think anyone's done the cycle with that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's rare.
Jeez, so that's 4 home runs in one game. Wow, that's unbelievable. Let's see here. And then finally, Woods writes in, I would say winning the 2014 Replay Retreat Tournament final, which Pete called the greatest game of replay he has ever seen.
Now, I'm talking about Pete Ventura, who's the creator or the redistributor of Replay Baseball. That's a pretty high compliment.
It is. If you were there, you can vouch that it was quite an incredible game. A close second would be opening up Sports Illustrated all-time All-Star Baseball for my 9th birthday. So, good job with Woods there, Jim, as he signs off here at the 2014 Replay Retreat Tournament. So, anytime you win a tournament or something like that, would be kind of fun. And Mike B writes in here. He was talking about some of his memories here. What the heck is that? Stars won. Other fun memories include the 2014 Replay Convention in Pittsburgh, traveling with George, Brad, and John for the trip, and also attending the Play.com convention in Denver. He was honored to be part of the panel discussion on the future of sports board gaming. Great job, Mike, on that honor.
Yeah.
And he listed a few other things here, but this stuck out to me the most. So great job on being on the panel there. And we need more guys like that in the sports industry here in our community. So that kind of wraps things up. A full day of comments, of memories of the games we played. So many here. Now I have so many ideas on things that I want to do after listening to some of the other people talk about their favorite moments here in gaming. And so sounds good. So before we wrap things up, Ron, any final words on? Oh, before I get you the final words, me and Ron and I, however you want to say it, we did a sports talk show live on my YouTube channel Sunday night around 7:00. I think my YouTube channel is Dave Gardner Videos. I also posted that link I think I posted a link on our Digital to Dice Facebook group to show everybody there. And I think we might do that once in a while. It's not going to be a weekly thing, I don't think, but every once in a while, Sunday nights, if things are quiet, we were talking this week about the Zamboni goalie, David Ayers, who jumped in net for the Carolina Hurricanes and beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Wow. And so we talked about that. We talked about the cheating with the Astros and or the Red Sox.
They've had 7 hit batters the first full week of spring training.
Oh, have they really?
Yes.
Oh, I was going to ask you about because I haven't really followed it too much, but yeah, it's
about once a game they get plunked.
Wow. So yeah, so we so every now and then you might want to check there. We sometimes do a live talk show and just chat sports or chat what's on our mind. It's kind of I would say it's a video version of the digital.
It's just a relaxed version.
Yeah, we had a lot of people in chat, and we got a lot of good questions. I think we were live on Facebook and YouTube that night, and we just do what we do in here, but we do it with a live audience, and we had a good time chatting for about an hour there. So every once in a while, check back on Sunday nights. We might be on live talking about this. So, all right. So now, any final thoughts? You want to wrap up your thoughts about this show, Ron?
It's great to listen to what people just kind of remember. And a lot of it does have to go in with friends and family and tournaments and always, like I said, some of the moments that maybe you didn't necessarily want, such as walk-off safeties, but just they're memorable and they stick with you and make you want to play the game more. I mean, I was watching the night that you had the lights go out at the Garden, and that was such a thrill. Such a thrill because I'd never seen that before. And you just really got jazzed for playing the game. If I can do this with this, what else can we do with it?
Yeah, it was just, I love it when they throw something like that at you. And that sometimes happens with cards and dice, too. I know that was on the PC, but once in a while you roll some really weird numbers and things come up. And, sometimes you get goalie penalties or goalie fights or, like I say, just, wild pitches at odd times or walk-off safeties. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it something we enjoy doing. So, all right. So, should we hit the music and fade out?
Absolutely.
Once again, thanks to Rat Pack Records and Metal Church for allowing us to use their song By the Numbers off the new album. And Ron, Metal Church is releasing some new songs. They just put out a new video, Dead on the Vine. Check out YouTube, Dead on the Vine. Look for Metal Church, Dead on the Vine. I just listened to that song and that video. It's really good. It's very similar to this. If you like this kind of stuff, I think you'll like the new single, Dead on the Vine. And in fact, they're coming out with, I don't know if it's a new album or if it's a best of or something, but they got some new songs and some old songs coming out on a package deal.
Always good to release new stuff.
Yeah, it is. And they're continuing to tour. And I look back now, it's been a year since I saw them. I saw them a year ago. So I'm hoping they come around again.
You had a great time at that show.
I did. I don't go to many shows. But I did go to Metal Church, and I have tickets for Rammstein coming up in September, so that's going to be the next show I go to.
There you go.
It was ways to get a hold of us. Oh, the music's already gone. That's great. Ways to get a hold of us. Digitaltodice.com is our website that goes right to our Spreaker page. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And we have a voice and text line, 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423. You can send us a text, say hi, and we may or may not include some of those responses on the show. So, wow, a lot we went through today.
Fun. That was really fun.
That was fun going through some fun things here and seeing how other people played and the games they played and the things that happened to them. It's always fun to compare notes, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what do you got coming up now this week, Ron?
Let's see. Got the Giants and the Bears Sunday live at noon Eastern on Twitch, 9 a.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Retrosports Network. New project for Patreon coming up. DJ John wants me to do a best of 7 between the 2019 Washington Nationals and 1994 Montreal Expos.
That should be interesting.
Game 1 will be Monday night, 9 Eastern. I have to stay up late and be productive, Dave. I don't like that. 6 Pacific on twitch.tv/Retrosports.
Just make sure you have plenty of tomato soup and you'll be good.
Then it might actually involve some caffeine, but yes, there's nothing. Hey, this girl loves Christmas.
She does, and you love Christmas too. We all love Christmas. We all love playing games. Everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Have a good one. Bye-bye.